Paintball Podcatty, broadcasted from the shores of the great freshwater bay of Green, the man who has put his balls in more faces than Ron Jeremy, SAS Scruffy.
Hello everyone, this is Scruffy here, and I'm coming to you direct in the Paintball Podcatty. Today's episode, I have a very, very awesome guest, and a group that I had just recently learned about, the MagFed Addics. And today sitting in with me, I will have Bulldog, who is the mouthpiece and the front guy for this group, and they are absolutely been a riot. I got to see them a little bit in action down at World at War 6. They were fun to watch. I know that they were against us, unfortunately. I know they had another one of our really good friends, Wasp, with them, who was dreading the fact that he didn't bring his rocket launcher. But that's the way it goes, you know? So, anyway, with no further ado, Bulldog, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. So, I have, like I was saying, I have just recently learned of you guys. Like within the last 2 months. It was Wasp that actually brought you guys to my attention with his trigger releases or mag releases.
Extended mag releases, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't a big like milsig or the high technical side of mag feed, so like when I saw it, I was like, oh, well, that's really cool. But could you give me a second and explain like how they were a game changer? Like what you guys saw in them? Because I noticed that you guys syndicated
the mag releases.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that was a big problem with the T15 mags. That follower there was a little too short. So you have Mike, Wasp Industries, came up with, that's why it's an extended. So it virtually eliminated the feeding problems on the T15 mags. I mean, it was that was a big deal for guys that play with T15s. A lot of them had problems, feed issues, and you get jams and chops and so that pretty much took care of that problem. That's why we sell so many of them.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, if it wasn't for him, I would have never found you guys. You know what I mean?
You found us eventually.
Eventually, yeah. But with what I was doing, because at this point, I run our general one MagFed game a year, and that was the Balance of Power, which was earlier in April up at APOC. Wonderful field if you get the chance to go up and play there.
Yeah.
That's a field you guys should check out. They're very smaller, like lesser known fields like that, but there are very few that are in depth as this one. I mean, you're talking tunnels, you're talking well maintained. This field's really freaking awesome.
Yeah. I remember when that Balance of Power was going on. Who was the general on the other side? Was someone from Ghost Crew, right?
Yes, I was facing Scully.
Okay.
On the rematch. I beat him both times.
There you go.
So,
I remember that. I think there was another MFOG game going on. There was a ODIL MFOG game that same day, I think. So, something like that.
May have been, because I was expecting to see Assassin's Alliance up there at that one, and then they went and did something else that day.
I remember it was like one or the other, and I had to choose, and one was closer than the other. So, you know.
Well, maybe next year we can get you guys up there. I mean, it's a field worth checking out, guys.
Definitely.
So now with me just learning about you guys, how long have you guys actually been in operation or been like a unit or a group?
We started MagFed Addics maybe 6 months ago, 7 months now. And all of us together hadn't been playing paintball for that much longer than that. And it's like we started, we found what we liked, and we just went full steam ahead with it,
Just dove right in and just said, this is it. We got it.
And, we started it with the goal in mind, like, holy shit, this is so great. We want everybody to know about it, So that's what the goal of MagFed Addics was when we started it, just to basically show player content and try and spread the wealth, grow the sport. So,
Okay, so you guys are then. I'm still like trying to get a grasp of what you guys are. You know what I mean? As like, so you guys are like as well as like a group of players to get like as well as a community per se.
Yes, yeah.
That would be the best way to put it.
We are the MagFed. We're trying to be the MagFed version of Respect Paintball. I'm sure you know Ron Bailey of Respect Paintball and what he does there for the love of the game. That's what we want to do, but with our niche, which is MagFed.
MagFed. So you're getting into the shape projectiles, the lacerations, all that fun stuff.
Right. That's right. Last year at this past 0 Hour in New York, which is one of the biggest MagFed games in the country. It was the best. I mean, it was put together well. The scenarios were great. On top of that, we dominated. Our side dominated, which is always fun. But there was something like 200,000 first strikes shot at that event alone. Now, you don't know what it's like to have that many shaped projectile, flying past your head, man. It was something else. So,
Oh, I bet you they were whistling Dixie all across the
they
field.
were, and it was fantastic. So yeah, that's why I like MagFed too. Is there's some game changers in there.
Yes, there is, and I'm actually counting on that, and I'll touch back with you guys on that in a little while because there's a game I want to invite you guys out to coming up in October, and we'll touch on that a little bit because it's right up your alley, and I think we're gonna have some fun with it.
Right.
But while we're on the topic, you guys coming up, so like when you guys first met, like you guys obviously was it like a group of friends that went out to the field, or like how did you guys like end up coming
It
together?
was there's three of us involved in the founding. It was me and Boston and our guy Midas. We were all neighbors, so we all lived like around the corner from me on the same corner. So these two guys started going paintballing and telling me how awesome it was, and I was like, whatever, And they finally got me out there, and the rest was history. So it was Boston's son who actually took him the first time. His friends were gone, so he's like, all right, yeah, I'll give you a ride. He thought it looked fun, so he went in, and you know how it goes. From
Absolutely. It's
the very first trigger pull out there, you're like, that's it.
well, and you get the haters that are like, "Oh, paintball's a kid's game," and then it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, it's an adult game that we let kids play.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it was first started by adults for adults, and then like the kids realized that we were having too much
That's
fun.
right. Bring them in because there'll be the next adults coming up to keep it going. So you got to have them play for that reason.
Well, exactly, and I mean, being a longtime player, I believe in the old guys teach the young ones what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I know playing like before, like when PSP, the old school PSP was done at like Badlands down in Chicago area, and it was done on the old hyperball field back before they had inflatables, and back like when like the Iron Men with Tom Cole back in the late '80s, early '90s, and you saw like a loss of play, like when people switched to the hyperball style and then to the air bunkers, you saw a little bit of loss in the woods.
Yeah, well,
but now what you're seeing is that all these old guys are coming back around to the woods, and you're starting to see these young kids like, how did they know to do that? And you start to see them gravitate back to the guys that were in the woods for the whole time,
And they're taking that now, and that's what's transferring over into MagFed. It's not just woods ball now. Now it's full milsim, with MagFed. So.
Absolutely, and I feel that too. I think the influx of the vets and like what's with vets coming home has helped the sport in the recent years.
Definitely.
I mean, like back in the late '70s, you had paintball became a haven for the Vietnam vets. It was an area where they could get together, and they were really the guys that pushed it. And then now you're starting to see the resurgence of this, and I think that's why the more accurate markers, the more it's becoming that community again.
Now they're making markers look more and more like actual weapons. They look and feel more like the same rifles these guys would have shot, in service. So.
Well, and in some respects, some of them might have actually even trained with.
Correct. Yeah.
I know Spider, when they came out with the old MRX a few years back, that was marketed to the U.S. Armed Forces. It was a 20. I think originally it was like a 20 round mag in AR-15 size, weight, feel, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
My current rocket launcher is actually a military surplus.
Damn.
Yeah, it's if you guys ever look this up, it's the old JCS Alias Mark II. and they were originally designed for training with Stinger missiles, and they had this little Nerf football.
Yeah.
And then the paintball community got their hands on them, and oh boy, these things are awesome. They're fun, and they predate Metadyne. There are a lot of you can't find parts for them anymore, which is a downside.
Yeah.
But they were just
Well,
awesome.
you make
awesome
your own
things.
parts, I guess, to keep it going.
Well, exactly. I'm at the point where I need to find a brass guy. I need somebody to make me a valve.
Yeah. That's something you could put together from Home Depot, huh?
No, my plunger's a little chewed up.
Oh, yeah.
I had a bad CO2 fill. There was something in it, and it chewed it up pretty good.
Damn. Well,
yeah,
fixing.
yeah, it's well worth it. I mean, eventually you'll find another one, and I'll rip it apart. So,
Yep.
So then, before you guys formed MagFed Addics, was there like, one of my guys wanted to know if there was a group of players that like you looked to. You know what I mean? Like, was there guys that you kind of like? I kind of want to be like them, but we're gonna do it a little different. Or...
Yeah, sure. Yeah. When it was just the three of us going and playing ourselves, we looked up to a bunch of crews: Assassin's Alliance, Ghost Crew. When we first started, we wanted to be able to run like them, like those two groups together, because they had their shit together. You know what I mean? So yeah, there was a lot of looking going on, just trying to emulate it first, So
yeah, and I know those two crews very well, and I'm surmising that even if you had a lot of questions, you would get a lot of feedback from them too, like on how they do and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, usually, but we were more of a play against them and learn how they,
trial by fire.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we like playing with them too, obviously, because it's always fun to be on that side. But yeah, I think you glean a little bit more information about the opponent when you play against him more often.
Oh, absolutely.
But we looked up to a lot of them, and then there was just I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but there was just certain guys there, maybe not even in a crew, that would show you the ropes, and so we watched everything and everybody. But and it helped. It worked out because now we can play right up there with the big boys.
Well, exactly. I mean, maybe a few things, finer things.
Well, yeah,
to learn on,
Even the big guys are still learning. Even the dudes that have been a crew for 5 years are still,
Oh, my favorite was a couple years ago. I had 2 years ago actually. Rob Novice from Master Blasters out in New York. Longest running paintball team, longest running tournament team ever, and actually they're still doing well in the NXL right now, which is really awesome. But I remember him getting in trouble from his team captain because he came over to our group and he's like, "You guys have everything you need to do well in the UWL, except you're not playing the trees right."
Yep.
And I looked at him and I couldn't figure it out because, we're a Wisconsin team. We're used to big, heavy woods. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Couldn't figure it out. Finally, he comes back and he goes, "You guys, when you go to move, take 3 steps back and then hook around to where you want to go.
It's tech.
They're going to lose you."
Mm-hmm.
Never thought about it. We went on to win that. We went on to win that tournament. Like,
it's all tactics, man. Everything put into use. So
exactly, and learning from what people have done before.
Right.
I mean, and knowing if you can do it.
Yeah, or tweaking it to make you able to do it. You change a little bit here and there. So it's not a rip-off of the style. It's more of an homage and your own flair to it.
Well, exactly, because nobody can do something 100% the other guy just did. Like, once that moment's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
You can try and repeat it 100 times, but it's never going to be the same.
It might work. It's not the same.
Exactly. I guess that's the big draw to paintball, because you can play the same field 50 times and have 50 different outcomes because a player went to this bunker instead of that bunker, or somebody got a shot off a quarter of a second before you.
Well, I mean, it's nice to know the fields, but when you play like open play games, and you're just out there messing around, you got a bunch of people that don't know the field, so they're not going to move in a way that you would recognize. So, yeah, you may know some nice spots, but when there's people that don't know it, they're just going everywhere. So, your tactics fall out the window at that point, unless you're playing like, against a couple of teams, a couple of teams back and forth, then everybody's going to be able to run their stuff. But in open play, rec play, stuff like that, your tactics really are rendered useless most of the time because half of the people out there don't know what they're doing or where they're going anyways. So
my big pro tip is survive the first half of those games, and then your tactics become useful again.
Right, because then you weed out the people who are just going gung-ho and running down the lane and getting lit.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's true. If you get through the initial blast, then, yeah, maybe you can get some.
Yeah, you let them thin themselves out a little bit, and then you take off into what you're doing.
Yep. Or even at that time, you take the random shot to the head or the face, just that came flying your way. Shit happens,
Oh, exactly. There's that moment where they say break, and then you take 2 steps and you're hit, and you're like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, hand up, walk it out.
Yep. But, that's the cool thing about our sport. I mean, we have fields that are 110 feet long, but when it comes down to it, it could be a quarter of an inch that keeps you live or dead.
Right, exactly. And I love that.
You just never know.
Sticking behind a little fence post that's 4 inches wide, although it's taken every shot for me, so.
Oh, you see the biggest guy possible, and he's behind like the smallest tree, and it just seems like all the paint just bends around him, and you're like, how does this happen?
Beast?
Yes, I know Beast.
Right there. First off, he's the fastest big dude I've ever seen in my life, and then on top of that, he's also the sneakiest and can hide behind anything. So, yeah.
I know. Oh man, I tried popping him out of the tank at World at War 6.
Yeah.
Just couldn't.
Yep.
And it gets me because when we first had the tank out last year at Jedi Shadow, he actually walked up to my friend's tank, puts his hands on the bottom grill, and just goes, "Oh, you call this tank?" And he lifts it right up, and the dude about hit the ceiling, just freaking out as Beast's like holding this 1.5-ton vehicle up.
That surprised me. So, but yeah, big dudes, man, they move. They get going.
Yeah, and they're not scared. No. They don't worry.
No.
They don't.
No, and with guys like that helps guys like me too, because I'm not a big dude, but I'm like, you know what? If he's running that fast and that far up, then I better be either right next to him or right in front of him,
Or at least have covering over him and be ready to move when he gets to where he's
going.
Right,
exactly. So, yes, it's playing with guys like that make you better too,
It is, and I love the diversity that this sport brings because it doesn't care. The ball doesn't care. It's going to go where you shot it. It doesn't care who shot it or what shot it. Mm-hmm. It's going to go where you put it. For the most part.
Yeah, well,
you got those players that have a force field and they just never get shot. Yeah. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, well, that's no fun either.
No, but
shot. That's how I see it.
Yeah, but that's why they invented first strikes. I mean, that takes care of the players that the paint just bends around. The first strike does
not bend. It will. It hits its mark.
It hits its mark. Yes, it does. So with that being said, what is your loadout like right now? What are you guys personally running with?
Personally, me and Boston and Midas, we're all running Tipexes right now. It's like a little experiment. We all started with, I had a Dam at one point. Boston was shooting a T15. Midas had a T15. Then I had a Milsig. So we went through all of these rifles and decided on just running pistols here, at least for the foreseeable future, because we realized our style of play is more upfront and in the business, and it's be super mobile when you got, and I love the Milsig and all those, the T15s, but I want to be super mobile. I want to be able to haul ass right to the front, and I want to be the one that pops the guy on the other side 2 seconds after they call break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right as of right now, we're all running. Me and Boston are each running single Tipex, and Midas carries 2 gold Tipexes. So if anybody sees him out on the field, you'll know it's him. You know, he's got 2 shiny gold Tipexes.
Oh, that must be pretty.
Oh yeah, they're pretty. They're pretty, and he does work with them too. So I mean, they get beat up. He's been through a couple of coats on it now. He has to keep recoating because he's out there right up front.
Well, yeah, I can totally understand the amount of coats that you have to put on it too, just from trying to keep freaking helping my friend keep the tank clean.
Yeah.
That thing every year is at least a coat of paint every
Yeah,
year.
and these are, you know, a few times a weekend or a few times a week at least. So yeah, they get beat up, but yeah. So we're running Tipexes now. That's not like I still have the Mill Sig, James. Boston still has a T15, but as of right now, the full loadout is just Tipexes.
Tipexes and up
It's an
front.
extended mags, you know. And we can, you know, the Tipexes work just as good with first strikes too, just as deadly. If you put that long range conversion kit in there, you know, then your house is with first strikes. So,
how is that conversion working, by the way? Because I had a couple of the old school, TIPs, before they were the Tipex.
yeah.
Like I had the old school ones, and then I saw the blocks come out, and I was thinking about taking the old shell and dropping a new block, and
Yeah,
just
there's no problems. I mean, they work great. There's, I know Boston and Bismarck both are running the long range conversion kits. I don't. I shoot only round ball right now
okay.
because I'm broke. Till first strike comes through with a couple of cases of, you know, I very limited shoot first strike myself. With my Mill Sig though, yeah, I went a little nuts with it for a while. That's all I shot, but no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the conversion kit is good, man. They know how to build quality things there at Tippmann.
Yes, they do, and you know they build stuff to last forever.
Yeah.
Tippmann really does.
And my wife has a Tippmann TMC, so she's into MagFed too, and she's running a TMC. So
how does she like that one? I was actually looking at.
Oh, she loves it. I had one too, and so did Midas. That is one of the best markers I've ever shot. It's so fun. It's ultra light. One of our other staff members, Wally, that's his secondary marker there, you know, is that TMC because it's super light. You can dig that thing into the mud, pull it out, barrel swab it, and you're going to be shooting straight right after that, you know. So it's ultra reliable. That's just Tippmann, though. You know, same thing with the tip.
Yeah.
You can beat the living shit out of them, drag them behind you on your airline when you're, you know, running for cover or something. Pick it back up. You're back rocking and rolling.
Well, you can run them over with an F-150. Not that I would recommend you do it, but I personally know that you can run them over with an F-150. Well, the 98 Custom at least, and you can pick it up and it'll fire.
Yeah, they just know how to build them. So I'm a big fan of Tippmann. You know, nothing against. I loved when I had the die dam and everything. I love the Mill Sig stuff, but if I gotta decide, I'm going with Tippmann there.
Yeah. See, I've been looking at because I have the old T8 and the 8.1 is my setup, is my backup at least in MagFed.
Yeah.
My setup for MagFeed is debatable, I guess. I have the Wasp speedball converter with the 10 round tube.
Yeah. You wouldn't get into a MagFed. You wouldn't get into the MFOGs down here with that.
No, I won't get into the MFOGs, but a few of the games up here, and for the amount that I do it,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it works really well for what I'm trying to do right
Limited
now.
ammo games, right? So.
Yep.
There you go.
I love stacking with it. Like, when you go to clear a building, that is the gun to stack with, because I'll take the front, because the only thing you can't find with that setup is a full tube of paint.
Yeah.
So I'll stack up with like 10 rounds in front, and then I'll take like 3 guys like you with all the pistols, and they'll be the left, right, you know, clearing the building. I come through like a shotgun and just put the line down, take all the paint, walk off, and it's everybody else that does the work behind me.
Nice little meat shield there. I love guys like you because you scare everybody. They reveal their positions, and then we come in and get the glory.
Yep, and then you clean them out while I'm just getting painted. But
I love that type of shit in scenario games, you know, because I mean it's a respawn anyways. You're gonna come back, so take the hits, but you expose everybody else, and it's for the good of the team, man. That's what's up.
I think some of the funniest stuff too is when you see like those pistol players, you see like one run into the back of the building, and then you see like 10 people that are still alive come running out the other door that were on the other team, like, oh crap, they're coming in, and they all just bail out.
Yeah.
It's like,
See, again,
really?
that speaks to why we started playing pistols only, because that's what we like to do. Just we like to hit the houses and just be right up there. So, for more of a woods ball game, like somewhere up in Wisconsin, something like that, I could see bringing the CQB back out.
Yeah. Especially if you go out to like if you hit up like the Challenge for Children or Splat Tags Giant Big Game, those are they're bigger scenarios. They're both round ball and first strike, hopper and mag feed, but you get onto the giant big game field, especially where it's 3/4 of a mile by 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
You can find yourself a nice little dark hole with a ghillie suit and just shoot hilltop to hilltop all day.
Well, that's
all
like
day.
SARS come in, them first strike shooting snipers. That stuff is badass. So, yeah, but again, I like to be right up in there. I can't hang back the whole time. You know what I mean? I get so bored. I have like ADD or something, so I need to always be moving and onto something else.
So when you move, do you already have your next movement picked? Like when you go to the first bunker, are you like, I'm going to go to this bunker and then I'll sit here for a sec and then I can move to this bunker? Or is
sometimes I'll think about it, but the situation, decides your next move. So I may run up to get some cover behind a big, 55-gallon drum or something. And I'm thinking when I get there, then I'm going to run into the house. But as soon as I get to the drum, they're lighting me up from the house. So plans change. Then it's like, oh, all right, well, instead I'm going to fall back to this tree or push over to the other side of the house. So, the plans are constantly changing. You try and think one or two ahead, but again, the situation that has the most.
Yeah. Well, with me, I always look for the path that I can break the line the most. Like if I'm trying to, like if my objective is straight in front of me, I'm going to try and pick a path that's going to put as much junk between me and that object as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I might expose myself for a little bit here or there, but I'm going to take the long way around.
Yeah. I usually you expose yourself. You can expose yourself if you can run fast enough. Like if you're trying to blast through an alley or something, you got no other cover. You just gotta take a couple steps back and haul ass and hope you catch them off guard.
That is very true.
It works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't, but it's also very exciting when you can see this paint popping off all around you, and you're high stepping it through it.
Or when you're running, you can just hear them whiz by. That's
the adrenaline there, and sometimes you take one in the neck in that situation. Sometimes you make it all the way across. I mean, that's what the best part about it.
Well, that's what I've come to call the hook.
Yeah.
That's the hook right there. That's what drags every time you're like, oh, it's so expensive or I can't. It's that right there. Drags you right back in, hooks you and pulls you right back in.
All it takes is to remember something like that. Like, oh man, you remember how awesome it was when, you get 3 kills in a row or something like that. Everything will bring you back to it. If you really want to play it, you wouldn't quit. So.
No, you don't. You find ways. I mean, I've been almost homeless and still found ways to hit the field.
See, that's another thing we do here. What MagFed Addics does at the home field. There were some kids there that really wanted to get into MagFed. One kid in particular. So we bought him the Tipex, brand new Tipex with the long range conversion, a nice Labco barrel, some mags. Just hooked him up. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing. Help out fellow player any way you can. So
yeah, I totally agree with that. I tend to, with newer players, I tend to try to give away safety equipment first. I think the key to the sport is a good mask. So I love giving masks away, especially like a better mask than what they have.
Yeah.
He
had a nice little JT. He didn't need a mask. He was doing full coverage, but we see him every weekend. To this day, that was 6 months ago we gave it to him. We still play with him every weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I had a little kid at Balance of Power this year. He was my MVP, and I love giving awards like that to these little tiny
Oh
kids.
yeah.
I had a total comms breakdown.
Yep.
I had no radios, and I'm the general.
That's rough.
I grab this little like 11-year-old who's like walking around not really knowing what to do, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to do me a favor?" And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "You know the guy you're with, Robert?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I need you to find him and tell him XYZ." And I'm like, "Repeat back what I just said." He's like, "Find, the guy he's with." Tells me the exact mission word for word. I'm like, "Go get him. Go find him." Runs up to him, comes running back. I'm like, "Did you get hit?" He goes, "No, I'm still in." I'm like, he goes, "Oh, and he gave me this," and he drops off like all of this stuff to like power my specials. I'm just like, yes, man. All right, now I need you to go to this bunker, find this guy. He looks like this. Go tell him that. And like this kid, the rest of the day just ran laps around this field. Nobody shot
He
him.
earned that MVP though, and also a kid that young, they have no fear. So hell yeah, that's the perfect position for him.
3 months later, we run into him at the Alpha Halo game up by us now, because I was downstate, and then the Alpha Halo in my backyard. Kid gets called up again. This time for what he was doing in the city as a player with a Phantom.
Wow. Yeah.
10-year-old running around with a Phantom.
Hey, man, got to do what you got to do. That kid's handling it.
He is. Oh my gosh. I hope to see him again like 2 more times this year. I really do, because watching this kid come up has just been awesome.
Yeah. Well, you got to start him young. My daughter's 10th birthday is in September, and she plans on having it at Paintball Explosion. So.
Ooh, that's a nice field.
Yeah. Well, that's home field. Yeah. So, it's. We know everybody. I know the beginner games are going to be good for her, and my wife will play with her in the beginner games, but she's very excited. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome.
Her 10th birthday will be there. And that's the next gen right there. Really, honestly, I hope she does like it, because that would be just great if she was into it too, so then we can all be there. But.
Well, and it builds confidence.
Right, exactly. She's, you just tell her to go out there and have fun. And if you get a kill, that's good. If you get shot, then, oh well, then you get them the next time. So all it takes is that first kill, that first hit on somebody, and your confidence is up no matter how many times you get shot after.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's looking forward to it, and I am more looking forward to bringing her. So.
Oh, I love it, and I think when it comes to young players, I'm usually a little bit more scared of the younger female players than I am of the younger boys.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, young girls, when they play, they are wicked.
Yeah, it's a no fear, and attitude or something. I don't know.
They are like, they realize that it's okay to be aggressive, and then like something in them snaps, I swear, and they just go for broke.
Well, that's good too. They should know that it's okay to be aggressive sometimes, as male or female. It's okay. Get down, take it all out right there on the field.
Yep. It's just they have to, and it also helps too, because it learns to leave it on the field. When you walk away, that's it. You got to learn to let it go. And I think in our sports today, we see a lot of this carrying over now with social media, where there's a lot less of that. Once you're done, you walk away. You know, and I can think of who was that Ravens guy from the NFL team. He basically lost his job because of the crap that happened between him and a teammate, and then he couldn't just leave it on the field.
Yeah.
That's
the way to do it, man. I mean, you feel relieved afterwards. There's no you settle all your scores out there, and then you got no beef in life.
Exactly. Or to bring it back to paintball, Mike from Tech PB, remember a couple years ago when he melted down after Living Legends?
No.
Like, oh man, that's you still get people online. They're like, well, whatever happened to this guy? And they tell this whole story about, like, he was the general for Legends, and he didn't really read the rules fully. Mm-hmm. And then immediately after the game, he lost because he didn't send any of his teams to the skirmish battles or anything like that. And he went online and blew up the game producer in the field.
Wow.
instead of looking at it and going, okay, I screwed
Right,
up.
exactly, man. You got to own up to your mistakes on that.
Eventually he did, and he realized what was up and stopped it. But
Not
by that point, the damage was
right,
done.
exactly. It's hard to climb back out of that hole.
Yeah, it's just something you don't come back from because it's not a very. I don't want to say that paintball's unforgiving, but as true to the sport, we're really brutal.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
the sport's brutal, and we will. Oh man, we can get really brutal, and we don't forget. You do something stupid like that, they just tend not to forget.
yeah, it'll follow you.
So, um, with that being said, I would like to actually formally invite you guys out to a game
Okay,
on October 9th. It's the weekend before Clowns vs
okay.
Zombies. It's a 2-day event.
2 days.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a 2-day event, possibly a Friday night game involved with this too. I'm still waiting to hear back from the creator. The scenario is going to be Cowboys versus Aliens,
Oh man, now you're talking.
and the premise is I'm going to be the general of the Cowboys. We are going to be MagFed exclusively.
Okay, all right.
We have to defeat the aliens, which is all of the space guns.
Okay. Now,
So I'm going to need some help with some first strikers here, because my goal to win this, I'm taking on a Civil Navic from Band of Brothers
okay,
down at Kizzy Field in Lower Michigan, down by Lansing there.
okay.
So
That's where
it's,
they do the mag games right now at Kizzy.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah. So Shadow Syndicate Paintball does their MagFed games. So.
yep. B-Rad is actually hosting this one.
Okay.
So he's going to be the host of it.
What's
Huh?
the date on that game?
That's going to be October 9th.
October 9th. All right. October 9th is a Monday, yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that should be a Sunday.
October
I
8th,
think.
Sunday.
Here, let me pull it up. It's the weekend before Clowns vs Zombies.
Yeah, and I think that Plants vs. Zombies. Well, either way, it's at Kizzy Field up there. You can count all of the MagFed Addicts, and we'll get right behind you.
Awesome.
Because I love the premise of that too. Cowboys versus aliens, MagFed versus space guns is fantastic, man.
We're gonna have a riot with this
Yeah,
game.
I think so too. That is I'm looking forward to that.
I'm trying to get as many SAR players out there as possible.
Yeah.
Because I don't even want to let them get within 100 yards of our
Right,
base.
exactly. Well, we got a couple we could get a hold of, and just try and stack that team up.
Exactly. If we can outrange them, they can't hit what they can't get in range.
Yeah.
So
I think the MagFed Addicts, we'd be willing to donate a Tipex there, a brand new Tipex, to a raffle for that game. So if you get pre-regs going on for it, we'll donate a Tipex for the pre-reg raffles.
All right, I will let Brad know. He's the actual host of the game.
Have him get a hold of me on Facebook or something like that, and we can go through the details. But yeah, I mean, I love the premise. We will be there, and I'd like to contribute as much as I can to it. So
it would be awesome to have you guys. It'd be nice to be able to get on the same side too, because like last time we were opposite colors, and I wanted to talk a little bit more, but it's a little difficult when the game's going on.
Yeah, I know. We got a little bit in, but no, it'd be nice to run on the same team. That's for sure. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you can count us in. We'll be up there 4 or 5 deep from the MagFed Addict staff. So
awesome. It'll be awesome to have you guys up there. Hang out, see a new field. I've never been to Kizzy.
Yeah,
I've heard it's really nice.
I've heard good things, and I think they're a bring your own first strike field, so that's cool. A lot of people complain about having to buy field first strike.
Yeah.
So if you can bring your own with whatever color fill, you're good to go. So.
I think this one in general is a closet cleaner. I think it's BYOP all the way around.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Better. Even better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I love that.
That's part of the reason why I took it so late in the season, is I figured by this point in the year I have played at so many different fields and I have so much paint left over that I better do a BYOP scenario just to clean out the closet for the next season.
Yeah, that's good, man. Because I got probably 4,000 rounds sitting around from various fields and games. And I play MagFed. That'd take me forever, but at MagFed we kind of pool all our paint together here for our staff and everything.
Yeah.
Together we got just a ton of all kinds laying around. So
yeah, see, like I'm one of those people that's when I'm using my speedball marker, I'm OCD about freshness. Like I've actually bought like whole crap tons of paint from Nelson up in Iron Mountain, and I'll call them like the Friday before and be like, "Hey, what just got off your racks?"
Yeah.
Like I want to buy some paint, but I want it to be no more than 2 days old when you ship it to me.
Yeah.
And you know what? They'll do it for you.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, they'll do it for you.
That's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, the paint makes a difference because I put terrible field paint before, where it's just you get a bad batch, it happens, but you're just making soup the whole day. Every third shot is breaking or chopping, or they're just dimpling right away, and you can't get a straight shot. So paint.
Yeah, I was about to say even worse than breaking and chopping is when they're shooting great, just everywhere, just not where you want it. Like
you're doing hook, you could do hook shots with it. That's about it. But yeah, that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that drives me up the wall. It really does.
But to go back to it, you can count us in for Cowboys versus Aliens. That is an awesome premise, and we got your back out there.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it, Bulldog.
Definitely.
And thank you very much for coming on. If you got any shout outs, man, feel free. Mike's all yours.
We got just the team, Got 'em Rough, Wally, myself, Boston, Midas. We just want to thank everybody for continuing to support us. We want to continue to support the movement that is MagFed. So that's who I want to thank is, the fans, the players out there for all the love that they've shown us. So that's great. And if you want to know about all our sponsors and stuff, anybody listening, go check it out at magfedaddicts.com. And you can see all our sponsors there, the home field and everything. But as of right now, in celebration of your 10th show, thank you to the fans for, the fans and followers and just players in general. That's it.
Yep. And thank you to all the guys that had posted pics up for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a headband to give
away.
Oh,
yeah. All right.
So I'll actually get that up in a post shortly after the show goes
awesome.
up. And I'm thinking the guy with the most likes. And then if you guys want to pick a couple other guys, once you get your headbands in, let me know and we'll ship them out.
We're in the midst of restocking the store right now. We're going to have some new logo shirts, some new design shirts, also like some more fitted shirts like for the women MagFed players, So we're going to have some new stuff in the store here real soon. We should be stocked up, and you'll have some gear coming your way for the giveaways.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Bulldog. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me, man.
Take care. I can't hope to see you soon. I really hope that we bump ways, one of these events coming up
We'll
here.
see you in October for sure. I hope it's sooner than that, though, brother.
Absolutely. I can't wait till October, and take care. And as always, keep your face pretty. Keep that mask on.
That's right, buddy. All right, man. Take care.
Hello everybody, it's SAS Scruffy here, and I would like to take a quick second and say thank you for listening to the show today. If you've liked the content or enjoyed it, please follow me on Facebook. Also, you can help support the show by going to patreon.com/inwithscruffy. If you'd like to be a guest or advertise on the show, you can email me at sas.scruffy@gmail.com. That's sas.scruffy@gmail.com. Thank you guys very much and enjoy.